My name is Billskoog. I am from Miami. I'm originally from Sweden. I'm 30 years old. I'm a solid Christian, and I make furniture with my father.
And Anna, what was your background like? What was life like for you growing up in Miami?
Disconnected from God. My head was just full of MTV and everything else the world had to offer.
What did you think about God? Did he play a role in your life?
I had not, Micah, heard about God. I lived in the middle of Miami, and I went to a great school, but nobody ever spoke to me about God. Nobody did. I didn't know about Jesus and what he does.
Tell me about 2001. What happened to you?
I was with my boyfriend at the time, who was a drug dealer, and he was selling ecstasy, and I was there helping him. And that's the day that we got raided by undercover cops, and that's just the beginning of the story. And everything preceding that, God just took care of everything. He just got in the middle of the picture because I asked him to.
How did you think to ask God?
I was fortunate enough to be released on bond. So I was, and I went home for about 2 weeks. And I remember pacing my living room floor going, God, this has to do with God. I know something here is happening, but I don't know what it is. And then 2 weeks later, I received a plea agreement of 5 years. But the big nasty thing is that I was going to be deported. My sentence was 5 years in Florida State Prison with deportation because of INS.
What did that mean to you to hear that you would be sent out of the country?
That was the worst thing. The 5 years were bad enough, but I somehow overlooked that and I just heard that I would be deported. That would be the worst thing that could possibly happen to my family. The worst thing. What am I going to do over there? I don't know that place. I don't know anything. I'm a Miami girl.
What did your family do, Anna? How did they handle this news?
Well, my mom and I, we decided that we were just going to cling to God because nothing is going to be impossible for us anymore.
You came home for a few weeks, but then you had to report to a county jail.
Like the first week I was there, I went to the chapel and I just let everything go and I received Christ for real. I really did receive him into my heart. And that's where I was desperate enough to just search his word. I read his word day and night. If I was awake, I just read and read and read. I just had to have God because then I was in a possible situation and I needed him.
So you didn't know about Jesus, but you must have known there was a God.
Mm-hmm.
So in this chapel, you asked him to take your life.
Mm-hmm.
Did you begin to know and understand who Jesus was at that point?
Yeah, I did, slowly but surely. They gave me an old little Bible, just the New Testament, and I read them. But then when I got to the prison, that's where I got a hold of Gloria Copeland's books and Kenneth and their stuff, and that's where just the Word of God was just revealed to me and how good he is and how he can take, especially the ones that are impossible, those situations, he can just fold them open and reveal a way for you to get out. And he did that because now deportation was the biggest thing for me. But in Jeremiah 29:14, that's where it says that you shall be returned to the place from which you were carried away captive. And that's Miami. So I hung on to that verse, and I made that verse the final authority in my life. I waited 2 years basically after that. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Lawyers would come in and out and tell me, nothing can change. You're gonna have to go back to court. You're gonna have to retry your case. I have no chance against those people. But God. He changed everything. God's word came true in my life. And it came to pass 2¼ years later.
What happened after the 2¼ years? How did you get out of the rest of the time?
I just went into court one day, and my judge was there. My mom and my parents were all there. The courthouse was full of people. When my name was called again, my lawyer, state attorney, and the judge, they were just talking. After that, my lawyer just goes back to my family. And I don't know what he said. I was on the other side of the courtroom. But that's where my mom just started going nuts, just crying and laughing, and everybody was just cheering. And I was like, that's right, Lord. I know it, because you're going to send me home. 2 weeks later, after that day, they said, Billskoog, pack it up, time to go home. And I packed my black garbage bag and I went home.
You go back to Miami. What was life like when you returned?
weird and scary. So many things had changed. I felt so lost. So I just continued living for God and with God, and I just didn't stop doing what I used to do. I still watch these guys in the morning, still read their magazines, still do their books.
And you went home, you continued to immerse yourself in the Word. Now, what did you do in the natural? How are you making a living, and what did you choose to do with your work life?
I design furniture with my father. He builds them. He's a master craftsman. And I draw them up on the paper. I meet with the clients. I put the designs together, and I just have fun. It's like God has just given me the ability to do it. He's given me the wisdom to figure things out, although I'm still learning. I just love my life.
And have you been able to plug into a local church, Anna, when you returned to Miami?
Yes, I have. I have plugged into a local church.
And when you think about how your life would have rolled out had you not found God, what do you think about where you are today?
It's just amazing. I'm just like a miracle. God is so good to me. I don't know why he let it happen to me, but he did.
You were arrested. You were stopped in your tracks. Your life was totally derailed. But God has used it for good.
Yes.
What do you think about that time that you spent in jail and in prison?
Micah, that was the most wonderful time in my life. I wouldn't change it for the world, because that's where I became friends with God. He showed me who he was and how he did things.
And who are you today, Anna?
Who I was supposed to be ever since the beginning, just didn't know how. Today I'm just living out the plan of God for my life. It's real simple when you learn how to do it.
Now you have something with you you're going to show to me. What is that?
This is the little tag that was on my prison uniform. And today, if you looked up the number, it's gone. I don't know, it's just gone.
And why do you keep it?
Because it's my testimony. I've been to prison.
And you've been set free.
Yep. It used to be right here. I used to have to say, Billskoog 162999 every night before he went to bed.
And now you can say,
good night.